We paid the South African Jockey Academy a visit and spoke to riding master Nicky Roebuck about the training apprentices undergo with regard to the use of the stick.
Michelle, we start very early with them with regards to stick work because it's very important when it comes to controlling the horses especially. We are in talks with Mr. Hyde and the stipendary stewards here in Durban, and they've told us what the new sort of guidelines are, and they're going to get stricter, which they've shown already. The guys are going to get fined if they go overboard, so we don't want the kids to get fined. So we have to change our style a little bit, but we will adapt. This is where it all starts, right here, and we're going to do a lot more pushing practice rather than stick work.
How difficult is it to use the stick competently?
We find initially the guys battle to hold the stick in any hand, even their dominant hand, but they get to learn quite quickly. You know, when they start riding work and things like that, they stick on every horse. What we try and make them do is use it in their non-dominant hand, because that's the one that they battle with. And when you're racing, you have to be able to use it in both hands, because when a horse veers left or right, you have to change it quickly and straighten it.
Are there specific areas on a horse's body where apprentices are trained to use the stick?
Yes, mainly when we start, we just like them to hit down the shoulder, because when they're not properly trained, they start hitting horses in the flanks and things like that when they start hitting behind. That's why with this equisizer that we've got, the simulator, it's actually got pads on the front and the back that have sensors. So when you hit the horse, it'll beep. And if you use excessive force, it beeps too. So we try and get them to hit in the right place. This is where it all starts. And then we try and get them to produce that on the horse.
Where behind the apprentice's leg is the use of the stick most effective?
Just behind your foot, so just behind your iron, to the rump of the horse, to the point of the hip. That's like a no access place. So when you're hitting in there, the horses tend to curl a little bit because it hurts. It's basically in their ribs or their flank. It does hurt. The skin is a lot softer there. There's a lot more muscle on the top of the rump, so that's where you're aiming for, and they don't feel it as much. Same as down the shoulder. They've got a lot of meat on their shoulders, and that's where we like those. When the guys are picking the horses up when they're starting to come into the straight, a lot of guys, you'll see them tap them down the shoulder just to let them know that the stick is there and it's time to go. And then they will pull it either to their backhand or the forehand, and then they'll give the horse a smack behind.
Are you of the opinion that an apprentice can overuse a stick in a race?
I think that the problem is they, especially early on, you know, their biggest thing is to ride their first winner. Everyone wants to ride their first winner, and they do get carried away. We've had instances where they've just gone overboard and not even realized it because they're in the moment, and you actually don't. I've been there myself. They obviously get fines and suspensions and that, and they don't want to get fined every meeting. It goes on their record, and when you look at going overseas or things like that, they look at that record, and when you've got whip abuse, then they won't take you. So we try and knock it on the head as quickly as possible. We'll bring them back here, we watch the race review, put them back on the simulator, and try and iron out those mistakes as quickly as possible so it doesn't become a habit.
What's your opinion then in going forward?
I don't think they'll ever do away with the whip completely. It's mainly there as a guideline. So if a horse is running towards the fence, you need to stop it, and sometimes it's there to do that. Yes, I do agree with them minimizing the number of strikes. Around the world, they are getting stricter. I went over to England last year, and they're down to 7 already, and they're looking to cap it even more. I think we will head in the same way very soon. I think they'll start having more of those non-whip races, and that'll also make a difference for the guys to learn to control it.